Welcome to another day in the Matrix. This is Red Pill Podcast number 99. I hope you're all having an incredible weekend. We're a day away from the new moon, and as I prepared you guys for this months in advance to pay attention to the key pivot date of February 13th, which was the quarter moon, and how I was going to be taking action if we got any pullbacks leading into this upcoming new moon. That's exactly what I did. I started sharing all that information over on Discord. So we are here. We're in those final moments, and I also was making everyone aware to anticipate as we get to this new moon of February and we move into March that we should be pretty much moving up from here. And this is a gift that we got at the final moments, getting that little bit of a pullback, and absolutely important for us to see now how this code plays itself throughout, and to just keep our emotions on the sidelines during the process, because a lot of people that were newer to this market, they just did not know how to respond to this. And here we are. We saw Bitcoin had about a 9% candle back on February 15th, just blindsided a lot of people. And it was something that we were anticipating because of that February 13th very, very important date. It was this third quarter moon, and I was not messing around with that. And I shared that with everyone several months ago. So we're going to be getting into everything today. Definitely going to be reviewing some altcoins near the end of this. And I got to say, just to kick things off, this entire upcoming week is going to be packed full of connections. This is typically how it goes when we get to the end of this month, specifically the month of February. We made it through that Super Bowl ritual, and after that ritual now, we could definitely anticipate some of the numbers and the symbols and the symbology behind that is going to play itself throughout the rest of this year for the markets. So we're going to be getting into that today, having more of an open-minded conversation about the big connections we made with the year of the rabbit decoded plus the Super Bowl decoded, and how so far this year is panning out for the markets. We're trying to combine all these systems together to make sense, and then we can utilize the numbers to determine what's to come next in the markets. So I hope you're all having an amazing day, and I just want to let everyone know that my internet connection is horrible today. Unfortunately, I have no idea what's going on. Just gonna have to bear with me. There might be times where there's a little bit of a lag in between loading a new chart. Like I said, I apologize. I'm gonna do my best to get through this episode. I'm just working with what I got here, but I appreciate you all. Got lots of love for the Wolfpack. I hope you're all doing amazing. And also, shout out to D Vortex and Clementine for helping out with the event scheduling. It's been amazing to see all the interaction amongst the Wolfpack. And if you are new here and you have yet to get access to our Discord, welcome. It's great to have you here in the Wolfpack. Go ahead and send me a direct message over on Patreon with your Discord username and the last four numbers after your Discord username, and I'll go ahead and reply back to you with a Discord server invite. Also, the altcoin voting system, we're doing amazing with that, so guys, keep up. And as well, just wanted to let you know that we have a couple of different coins that I haven't reviewed in a while, so it's going to be interesting to get into the end of this episode when we start reviewing the altcoins. But I am starting to see a repeating pattern of some of these projects, and it tends to be when there's like a bullish breakout. So I just want to let people know, calm the FOMO down. If things start getting bullish out of nowhere, it's typically not the best time to get excited. You kind of want to get excited when things are boring and bloody, and that's been the methodology behind my work for a while now, to just get ahead of the market. So anyways, we're in the final moments of this. Like I've been sharing for a while, I believe we're in an automatic rally phase. So this is sort of the time where you're going to see all coins go up 100%, 200, 300% out of nowhere. It's going to be really random, really exciting for people. The Wolfpack isn't playing that game. Don't be a bull, don't be a bear, be a wolf, follow the moon. And if we're looking for accumulation timeframes, it's really around those full moons. And lately we've been identifying these first quarter and third quarter moons have been really effective at timing a bottom. And when I say bottom, I mean a microcycle bottom, so short-term pullback. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into some dates. Oh, and also, there's going to be tons of updates to come as we move through the rest of this month. I've been working really closely with the moderators. I have changed a little bit up on the Discord side of things. You guys might have noticed that the aesthetic is a little bit different. I wanted to make it broken down into categories for everyone amongst the mastermind community. So this way you'll know what section is for decoding, what section is for crypto, lifestyle, etc. I think it looks much cleaner, and I believe it'll bring more interaction between all of us. So let me know if you guys like the changes. I think it looks awesome. So let's get into some dates. As you're well aware, tomorrow is the new moon. For those of you in Australia, New Zealand, shout out to the Aussie and New Zealand Wolfpack, Kiwi Wolfpack. I appreciate you guys. You're already there in that new moon. And of course, we have these dates of February 22nd, which is the 222 date, and the 223 date, being the 223 in the 223 year. I'm sure you're all aware of this if you're into numerology. So we're just going to skip over that today because you already know. But let's go to an interesting find of February 21st, which is going to be 2 days away on a Tuesday. And we can see a couple things here. For one, the date numerology is giving me a 12, and this is the 52nd day of the year. So with this 52, let me just get into that really quickly. We have cryptocurrency giving me the 52 right there in Chaldean. We also have crypto giving me the 25. So the reverse, as above, so below. Now, specifically for the 52 and 12 connection in one word, we got rabbit. So if you watched my Year of the Rabbit Decoded, you're well aware of this. We have that 52 in English ordinal as well as 12 in Chaldean. So 12 standard date numerology, getting that right there. And then 52 English ordinal tied to the day of the year, which is also tied to cryptocurrency. So definitely something to keep in mind with that. We could play around with this a little bit more. We could see the day before Rosh Hashanah this year. So Rosh Hashanah starts on a 15th of September. And if we connect the two dates, well, we have 205 days. 205 is 25. And again, that ties us right back to rabbit. So it's definitely important connecting to the end of Jubilee. And you could see that 21 is the mirror of 12, and we still have the same double-digit date numerology of 66. And that 21 right here, that 21 connects back to Saturn. And that 21 and Saturn connection, because Saturn is the Grim Reaper or death, that is all about this year, the 223 or the Skull and Bones year. So I went over that thoroughly in my last two decodes over on Patreon. Definitely go watch that out. Watch that if you have the time. So let's get into this. This days left in the year on this specific date is 108 days. It's pretty big. 108 could be considered to be the number of spiritual completion. It has a lot to do with the measurement between the moon and sun and correspondence to Earth. But I don't believe that at all, by the way, because I don't believe in any of the narrative behind outer space. But anyways, the 108 is definitely an interesting number. For me, I've been focused on it as the number 18. You've removed the 0, and that number 18 tied to Judaism. It's a very important number, and that definitely has been important for our work here with the markets and finances and knowing about market trends, etc. So there you go. February 21st, definitely an interesting day, connecting to the day before Rosh Hashanah, but more importantly, just that 52 and 12 connection I just shared with you. Okay, so one of the things that I want you all to do is pay attention to the market on this day. The reason why is because we want to pay attention to the energy that we get in the markets on this day, and we want to look for signs of bullish or bearish energy tied to these numbers. But so far, Rabbit and anything tied to Saturn have been positive. And this does make a lot of sense because the rabbit is tied back to Venus, and the month of Venus is April, and this has everything to do with the transition between vernal equinox, spring equinox, which is March 20th, throughout into essentially Taurus. So is this making sense, guys? This is always a very bullish time frame typically. I mean, we have had black swan events in this March time frame, but Needless to say, it's typically before the vernal equinox. And then when you get from vernal equinox over to about May, let's just say full moons, you have a bullish moment in the market, and then you have that classic quote, sell in May, walk away. I think this has everything to do with Venus, has everything to do with moving into Taurus, again, ruled by Venus. But let's get past this. You guys probably have a lot of this information already. It's just little nuggets of wisdom to share for those that are newer to the work. Now, let's get to another interesting date, which is the 24th. The reason I find this pretty interesting is because it's the 55th day of the year, and that 55 ties us back to, speaking of Saturn, Satoshi Nakamoto, which is basically Saturn, and you could see that 55 in multiple ciphers. So 55, and another connection is that 69 date numerology, and that 69 is the current Bitcoin all-time high, 69,000. And let me just show you really quickly how Saturn is giving you that 69 right there. Again, Saturn is Satoshi. Now, we have this 181, which is the 42nd prime, and we have this 89, which is the 24th prime. 89, 24th prime, and it is the 24th day of that year as well. Satoshi in Chaldean equals 24. So we're getting a lot of these 24 connections. Then to the day of Rosh Hashanah, which is on a Saturn day, again, another connection to Saturn, it is 204 days. 204 is 24. The last day of Rosh Hashanah is a 24 date numerology and a 69 date numerology, both tied back to this code. So this is why this 3-day span of the first day of Rosh Hashanah till the last day of Rosh Hashanah is really important this year, mostly because we're in the Jubilee year, and this is something that comes around once every 50 years. So you might hear me repeating this over and over again, but I'm not doing it for, wasting my breath. It's the same reason why I was really, pounding in the information about the Shemitah during that year. And you can see that the year before the Shemitah until now has been an extremely volatile, roller coaster ride for the markets. So these moments come around once every 7 years, guys, and you've been pretty much with me throughout this whole journey. So it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing to have all this data and see how it all plays out. And after 2023, after this Jubilee is over and we make it to 2024, it's going to be a different energy. We're going to be pivoting out almost completely from this so-called downtrend and into an uptrend. But we'll take it one day at a time. So getting back to this 55 connection to Satoshi, we got the 24 connection back to Satoshi, 204 days to the day of Rosh Hashanah. Definitely making me feel like there's something to be said about this upcoming Friday, which is a weekly close for the stock market. We know how these weekly closes have been going lately in the regular market. So there's been a lot of volatility. You guys have probably seen, we had 2 days last week where out of nowhere, once the stock market closed, they heavily shorted Bitcoin and cryptos, just heavily shorted them. It's like they're closing down the market and then they're moving all their liquidity and the volatility over into crypto. It's obvious because it's right when New York Stock Exchange closes, you can see all this volume get injected into the crypto market. They're not hiding anything. It's not done in secrecy. It's right there in front of your eyes. You just got to look at volume. You have to look at the timing of when it all starts to kick in, and you can put two and two together and get your answer. Also, this will be within the new moon window. We teach that the new moon window and the full moon window is kind of 5 days before up to 5 days after. So being the 20th is the new moon and the 24th date connection here, we're within that time frame. So could be a very bullish weekend, even moving into our monthly close. So last thing to say, this is kind of like an esoteric side note, just to give you guys a little more information about this week, is this upcoming Sunday is going to be the 26th, and this is in Pisces. You can see right here, tropical Pisces. We're from February 18th, which was yesterday, so happy Pisces, everyone. And until the vernal equinox, March 20th. So just to quickly go over this, if we were to copy, and you could see, we're going to copy paste Pisces into our gematria calculator. You have the 26th of February, and then you have this 71 date numerology. And we can see right here, we have the 71 and the 26. That's just one thing, right? But more importantly, this is all tied back to the Super Bowl, because we just went through Super Bowl 57, and we had a lot of sevens in the score of the Chiefs. They scored 7 points, 3 quarters straight, 777, which is 21, the jackpot number or the number of Saturn. And then you could also see that this is a 17-date numerology, and that was the last quarter. The Chiefs won with 17 points to beat the Eagles by 3 points total. So it was a super close game, and they had sevens every quarter until the last quarter. They scored 17, and 17 is the 7th prime number. Okay, so this is just amazing how these numbers are all tied together. Blows my mind. But remember, Super Bowl 57, you got all these 7s and 17 connections. This is tied to the day of Rosh Hashanah by 202 days, which if we remove that 0, that's the master number. It's on Super Bowl Sunday, and this day is a Sunday. Definitely important to consider. So, wasn't that 38 coded? Yeah, didn't they win with 38 points? Wait 1 second. Sorry, it's not fresh in my mind anymore because I really just don't pay attention to this stuff. Since the game has been over, I've been shifting my focus onto more important matters. Yeah, they scored. Okay, so they won with 38 points, and this is the 308th day of the year. Mamma mia. All right. Well, there you go, guys. Pisces is ruled by Jupiter. The Eagles were all tied to Jupiter. Jupiter lost. Saturn was all about the Chiefs. The Chiefs won. Okay, I mean, this upcoming Sunday should be interesting just by the code. Maybe something happening in the world stage. I have no idea, but I just want to. I'm teaching the code. You guys do what you want with the code. This isn't about predictions or call-outs at this point when we're getting into this kind of stuff. It's just to be an educator of decoding and gematria, numerology, astrology, so that you guys become self-reliant decoders. That's really all that I want to do here. And that's why having fun with this stuff is always it's always thought-provoking. But when you're seeing all these connections, it's hard to deny, right? Okay, so that's the wrap up for the week. Let's get into some of this crypto stuff. And again, guys, I apologize. My internet is not that my internet is not that good right now. I take a sip of coffee. Yeah, just want to apologize because my internet's not that good right now. It's completely out of my control. I apologize. I'm sorry. So if the loading time on these charts is off, you can blame Elon Musk. Anyways, you guys remember this chart I shared. I even made a post about it on Twitter. I'll show you really quickly. This might not load, but just to give you an idea, I made a shout out about why the charts were not moving up right here on February 2nd. I said, want to know why BTC keeps going up a little day by day with constant rejections. And then I showed you this trend line. Okay. Now, that was an incredible share because pretty much what was going on, it was this trend line here. I went ahead and extended it, and look at what we're doing today. We're just still kind of having issues with this trend line. And because it's a Sunday and the markets are still closed, I don't trust that we're over this just yet. We're going to be getting into the weekly analysis and just the macro analysis in a moment. But I want to let you know this trend line is baller. It is so important. And if we do start solidifying like 5-day closes, weekly closes, etc., above this line, I think we're up. And if we pay attention to the last time we had this energy, remember I was comparing this time frame right here to the time frame that we were just in over here. I was sharing that comparison, and then we just moved up after that. The eclipses started kicking in around July and pretty much into late June, July in this time frame. And here are the eclipses, these two red lines. I believe I went over this very thoroughly for you guys in a Red Pill podcast, but right here, if we're measuring back the time until we start to break structure, we're looking at about 50 days exactly. So if we go from this eclipse right here and we go 50 days out, That is March 23rd. So we are mimicking this to a insane precision. This is an insane precision because if you go 1 year from high to low, it's exactly 365 days, 1 year. If you go from our current all-time high over to the low, it is exactly 365 days. So I'm not overthinking shit. I'm just assuming we're going to have the same automatic rally, and thus far we have. It is identical. If I turned off everything, you cannot deny this anymore. This right here is this. So the next phase is breaking structural resistance, and then once we break that, which will be this move right here, it's another straight line breakout ahead and a little bit of a stall out, a little bit of a back test, and then one final swoop into the actual eclipse. And this has timing to it all as well, because your RSI will get overheated, then it'll cool down, reset. So right here we broke out right here, and we had a very overheated RSI. On the 12-hour, it was at 95. Then we slowed down. We had a short-term little pullback. We took that moment as an opportunity, I hope, to buy. And then we move on up. And this was a very confident time to buy, right? So this is akin to this. And then this straight line breakout pretty much led you into another moment, getting a little bit of a stall out, reset RSI, and then one final overheated blow off top type vibe. Literally perfectly into the eclipses. So I don't see no difference. And that's why I'm putting a little bit more emphasis on the February 20th eclipse to get out of Bitcoin and probably ETH, because those follow very similarly. And then if we use our TA, we could determine levels. If we use our gematria with the TA, we could really dial in the levels. Again, I teach this in my exit strategy blueprint. So if anyone is interested in that, you're here on Patreon, you get the best discounts available. A little bit of a, cheat code to all of this. If you want the exit strategy blueprint and so much more, you can actually consider getting the crypto mastermind course. The crypto mastermind course has the exit strategy blueprint in it. So kind of just saves you money if you are interested in learning the whole process of how to invest, do technical analysis, and combine it with gematria. That would be this crypto mastermind. And then the exit strategy blueprint is included in that. And that teaches you everything of how to actually decode as you're determining those price targets. So if you look in the link below in this video or in the pinned comment, you'll see the discount links. So if you want to take advantage of that, it's definitely going to be a solid investment, especially now because we don't have a lot of time left. And the exit strategy blueprint is short. You could probably complete it in 2 to 3 days. So hustle through that. And if you're somebody who owns the cryptocurrency mastermind course now, or you own the exit strategy blueprint, do yourself a favor and rewatch all of that. Okay. Take notes. This is not a time to mess around, guys. And also, I'm really grateful and appreciate anyone's support who invested in my courses. It really means the world to me. I'm serious. So yeah, this is a time to pay attention. No joke. We don't have a lot of time to waste, about 59, 60 days away. And the last thing to mention is about May 5th's eclipse. That could be an opportunity for altcoins to have that final move up. So you guys probably know this by now. We see Bitcoin have these blow off tops, and then about a month later, we have an alt season. It takes about 25 or so days. All this liquidity folds over, Bitcoin dominance folds over, and that goes into altcoins. Altcoins shoot up. I don't think we're going to have that repeat in terms of the timing as much this cycle, but we could on some isolated projects. Because if you look right here, we got to like June 28th. Now let's look at Ethereum during that time frame. And we got to June 28th. It was the same exact day. But look at the all-time high for ETH. It came in on January 12th, back in the last cycle. But the Bitcoin all-time high came in December 12th. Let me show you. Or December 17th, excuse me. Yeah, right here. You can see December 17th was the time frame it hit the all-time high. It took about a month for that liquidity to flood into the alts. But the automatic rally phase is different, guys. So don't play around with this. Like for me, as I was very adamant about buying in this little pullback that we got here, I'm equally as adamant about de-risking into this into this springtime, which for us in this cycle should be no later than May 5th. Let me look at the moon phases really quickly. Yeah, it's a full, yeah. I mean, if we make it to May 19th, that would be a miracle. Be miraculous. I think we're going to fold over into this. I do believe we're going to have a textbook sell in May, walk away event. And remember, we start to short at new moons. You shorten at new moons into full moons. You long at full moons into new moons. Okay? So I know a lot of people got this opposite over the past, 4 to 5 months when they're newer to my work, especially. But that's why I'm not messing around with this, man. I don't want to overthink. I think this is really a critical time to just look at the cyclical nature of the cycle as it is with every Shemitah. Crypto now is the new kid in town. It's the most nascent out of all of us. And we're here. We're paying attention to it because it has that ROI and that volatility that plays in our favor. So I don't give a crap about who's involved in the projects, what the white paper says. None of that matters to me. All that matters is this esoteric code and how this esoteric code plays into everything. And for me to have a developed and strategic and sophisticated investment thesis so that I have a plan. So when the market comes to me, I have a plan to trade. That's all that matters. That is how the wolf always wins. Okay, so let's get into some actual analysis on this with some indicators. First things first, we're just going to identify that this is very double toppy on the downside, but because we have bullish everything in our favor right now, and I'll get into that in a moment, I'm not really too concerned about this because this led into a weekend. So because this is a weekend and we're starting to see right here, this closure on the 17th was at a structural high. Remember, I gave February 17th a call out last week. Looks pretty solid. Then we have another daily close on green, and then today thus far looking pretty good. So we've actually started closing highs. Oh, I mean, the number one thing I should say is February 17th, the day that I called out, was the day that we closed on a structural high. There you go. So that would be a very important note to make. And if we start getting into like a 2-day candle, we're closing above. So that's check, bullish. We got our 3-day candle, check, bullish. And we got our 5-day candle. It's closing tonight. Ooh, okay. So this is a very important close tonight, guys, because it's not only a 5-day, but it's a weekly. Now let's look if it's a bi-weekly. No, not yet. Okay, so you heard it here. And our bi-weekly is coming in right at the monthly pretty much. Let me see if we're on bi-monthlies yet. Yeah, we are. Okay, damn. This looks like a bottom to me, fam. Look at this bi-monthly candle. It looks so similar to this. Okay, so yeah, there we go. I mean, if we're going to close especially above this wick high right here, like if we close the month of February above 25,300, I anticipate we're going to be moving on up. So let's get to the daily and see what's going on with this. Add some indicators in. I don't know why I'm looking at the Gemini chart. We get to the BTC index. It'll be a little cleaner. Yeah, and some moving averages. Boom. Okay, so you can see a couple of the things. We have this 55 simple moving average crossing the 200 simple moving average. That's looking very bullish. Once this 55 crosses above the 200 exponential, that'd be very bullish for those crosses. And you can see the 8 moving average is sloping high to the upside. Let's check out our RSI. So we did identify a terrible bearish divergence, which for me, it was getting me really confident that we were going to have a short-term pullback. We got our short-term pullback exactly to my level. I said 21,500 to 21,300, and you could see that on the day of February 13th, the exact day that I called out, Bitcoin went down to 21,370. Probably one of the most accurate calls that I've made in a long time. That's like 99.99% precision, the date and the target price. And a lot of it did have to do with the confidence of this 200 exponential moving average. So we're using the indicators as well, guys. It's important too. When we get that cross with that 55 above that, that's going to be a solid sign. We are bullish histogram on the MACD. This is great. All signs on the daily are looking good to me. Let's look at the EMAs. All in bullish posture. We have the 13 above the 21, above the 34. Let's add also our... One moment. Okay, and then you could see right here, we have this 8 crossing above the 13, and once it does that, then we're going to really be looking solid. So the next big cross to have on the daily would just be that 55 above the 200 exponential. Let me go to the weekly and see if we're going to get some data on this. Oof, okay, right here is important. So let me turn all this off, and you can see that that dark green and that light green moving average, the 200 exponential, 200 simple, are squeezed together. They're pinching, and they're perfectly at 25K. So that's a huge reason why we keep getting rejected there. And I've spoke about this now for multiple weeks. Getting closures above that, like if for whatever reason Bitcoin wants to close above 25,200, wow, that would really be solid. And of course you do have that 55 simple above us, so we don't have a whole lot to overcome here. Let me look at these moving averages. Oh yeah, this is great. So we have the 13 crossing above the 21 and the 8 at the top of those. So once those 3 are crossing above that 34, then we're really looking good. But they're all starting to pinch together now. So the first thing I want to see, if I could just like lay it out piece by piece, would be let's start getting daily closes above 25K, right? Keep it nice and simple. Now, once we start getting that condition met, especially if it's going to happen on this weekly and maintain above 25K throughout the whole week, and let's just say we make it to next week and we're at 26K, then we're going to be above all these key moving averages, macro key moving averages, moving into our monthly close. And you saw the bi-weekly close and the monthly are together. This could be very, very powerful signals that we are moving up. And look at the weekly RSI. It's only at 60 right now. This thing could go so much higher. You're talking, 88 RSI easily. So if we go back to the last automatic rally, which was this phase right here, Bitcoin's RSI on the weekly made it up to 81. All right, we're only at 60, so we have room. Just keep this all in mind, everyone. And now let me go to a daily and show you guys some downside targets, because we don't just want to only look at bullish. Okay, so we're also rejecting on the top side Bollinger Band. That's another sign of stall out. Let me see that we did have a little bit of expansion in the Bollinger Bands. We're getting it about bottom side band around 21K flat. Okay, so what I would look for when we're more in a bullish energy is the median line, which would be about 23,200. So keep an eye on that 20 moving average between the Bollinger Bands. And then if I was to pull up some of these, I would look at the 21. Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's about 23K. So the 21 exponential sitting at about, and if we really wanted to have a larger correction, it would be about 22.4 on this 34 exponential moving average. Because once we got these crossed with the 13 above and the 34 at the bottom, now we're in a bullish posture. And you see how once we had this little distributional top, we came down and held all of our closes on the 34 exponential moving average. So that's a key sign. If we're going to have a more dramatic pullback, that would just be in the supports of all of these days here. You're looking at about 2 weeks. And by today's daily close, we're going to see this sharply move to the upside. This 34 should start to get about 22,500, or maybe even closer to 23K. The higher that 34 gets, the better it is for just maintaining uptrend in this short-term micro cycle. Let's get to ETH. All right, ETH looking good, but ETH still has a lot of work to do because we have this top right here from September at 1,800, and then we have another top right here at about 2,000. So We can't really talk too much about ETH right now because it's still lagging behind. It would need to break about $2,030 in order for us to start anticipating the continuation of the relief rally, which honestly, we just have to see how it goes. It could go to about 3K. It could go about 3,500. That would be the range that I would anticipate, at least around 28. Sorry, I'm saying 28K. You know what I mean, 2,800. So that would be my range. Let me see if I could get some more information. Okay, so that would be to that 0.5 fib here, pulled in a bearish reversal up to about the 382. If I was to pull it in the other way, you're going to see what I'm talking about here. It would be here to about the 702 fib, which is textbook for an automatic rally. Maybe up to the top of the 786, but I really don't, I doubt that right now. We know in the last cycle it was underwhelming. It only came up to the 0.5 fib. You could see right there from swing high to swing low, and you see that 0.5 rejection perfectly there. In this same fib I just pulled, you're going to see that the 0.5 fib is only at $2,000. Right there. So that'd be a very mediocre pullback. And the reason I don't think it's going to do that is because we've already met that level earlier. I do see at least a shift up into the 25, perhaps 2,800 level. We have to see how it goes though. Like it's just another lower high, because we have our high, lower high, and then we would have another lower high sitting around here. So ETH is just more stable. It's more stable because this is the way ETH is probably going to go. Maybe it makes it up to 2,800, but then when we have a pullback, it holds 1,000, whilst some other coins might go up higher, but then they could pull back and go down to another low in the cycle by the end of the year, into October eclipse. So which one would you rather be in? You either have to be really strategic and really okay with selling, de-risking those speculative alts, or you can be more conservative, play the ETH swing, and still make money no matter what. So it's just up to you, and it's up to how dedicated you are to responding to this market. Okay, looks like Bitcoin's getting about 25,000 now. It's a typical push up in early Sunday morning. Let's get to XRP. Oh, and also short-term upside conditions for ETH would probably be this 888 around 1906. So if Bitcoin's going to break and go to 26K, I do anticipate us to move probably into the 1850 region or into this 888 fib. And then we have that key level about 2,000 to break for more upside continuation. And then for a pull to the downside, it'd be about 1,500. Let's get to XRP. All right, XRP, I did some final accumulations on as well. I believe that there's a big possibility that XRP makes it above $1 in this automatic rally, probably the 702. And because of the nature of XRP, it could have a wick in a single day that swipes us up to 130, 140, plus a rejection and then a pullback. So I don't think it's going to be trading up at $1.30 or $1.40 for too long if it decides to go higher than that. But at least $1 would make a lot of sense to me. It's funny to say that, right? $1 would make a lot of sense. At least it makes 100 cents. I'm going to quickly take some sip of coffee. And also, don't you guys find it interesting how the entire Super Bowl Sunday that XRP kept trading around 38 cents? And then the Chiefs won with 38. XRP is so esoteric. It really is. Maybe in the future I should do a full-blown XRP decode. I keep saying these things, but then I don't want to ruin my life, guys. I work so hard, man. But I love decoding, so it's just so fun for me. And this is one of those tokens that I know in 2024 into 2025, it's going to be fucking rocket ships. So, sorry, I had to stretch. Okay, let's get to the TA before I lose my mind. All right, first things first, this does look very odd. This chart has a lot of shit on it. So let me remove everything and just work on it one stage at a time. For one, these crown distributional tops are super normal for XRP. When it starts to get a parabolic breakout, you wait for these things, and then you have these BART heads. And now we're really coiling up in this, and it's getting close to time for liftoff. So 41 cents would be a major condition. 42 cents would be even better. It would give me more confidence. But the problem is that area is just into the support wicks of this crown top. So yeah, guys, like it's really kind of arduous and tedious to even do TA on this project right now, because it's more about the timing of things rather than complementing structure or knowing how to identify when it's going to make its moves. We're really damn good at that here on this channel. Look, February 13th, that was my pivot point, and where did it go? The low. Then we have up here, we could see quick move to the upside, but we're still getting rejections here at this line. So it is, how do I say this? Boring. It's boring. So we're good at timing this shit for sure, and we're good at knowing the upside price targets and downside price targets, but when it comes to this coin's performance, it's just, you can't really say too much about it. It's very suppressed, very, very, very suppressed, but I still think we are in the midst of an automatic rally breakout. So getting back above this line right here is key, but I think solidifying daily closes above this resistance descending trend line would also be nice. Wow, this kind of aligns. Oh, shit. Okay, never mind. I don't know why I didn't notice that. There you go. We have rejection, 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 big rejection, shit. Then we gravitate into it. And how many days have we been on this thing? Fuck, 27. Okay, the whole month. 1 month straight. So breaking above this would be solid. You don't want just a break of these sideways angles, though. You actually want a horizontal break, okay? So pay attention to what I'm saying to you. Getting above that 42 cent level would be great. It'd really be solid. It would start to break this trend line, plus it would break horizontal structure, and then I suppose we'd stop out short term at like 44. But we know XRP, it could just shoot up. Like this breakout right here, it went up 73% in 7 days. So if we were to start that tomorrow, yeah, right. Fuck. We would go to 60 cents 68 cents literally by the end of the month. That's how quick this shit can happen. I'm not saying this is what it's going to do, by the way. I'm just letting you know. It wasn't 73 the score between the teams? Yeah, that's 21st prime, right? 38. I think it was 38 to 35, right? Yeah. These Super Bowl numbers, man. These fucking Super Bowl numbers. They keep haunting me. Okay, so I gave you the upside condition. We want to look about 42 with a break. And then on the downside, I mean, we are probably going to hold 37 at this time. Probably going to hold 37, 36. I don't see us going below that. We can, of course. Anything's possible in the matrix. But structurally, we should be fine on that 37 cent pullback that we got back here. Oh, and also, if we do get a pullback to 36, I'm buying. So I don't even care. Let's move on to coin number 1, Neo, which is doing really fucking well today. Shit. Okay, just up 13%, like a boss. Oh yeah, this is an OG coin. Okay, we're gonna have fun with this. Let's do macro analysis. Ugh. Okay, so it's like an XRP deal. And what I mean by that is it did not break the all-time high of January 2018 in the recent cycle. So it never went into price discovery. It had a low, although this outperformed XRP substantially. Yeah, I think so. 2,800% off the C-scam crash. Not complaining though, because I did really well with XRP. Oh yeah, not even fucking close. Okay, so that's sad. Neo outperformed XRP. All right, but yeah, you guys get what I'm talking about though, right? Like it had a similar structure where it didn't go on to a new cycle high. So Bitcoin outperformed this thing in the recent cycle too. This is why people, like, when it comes to the OG projects, like, I'm not super heavily trusting in them because they don't have the excitement behind them. I mean, the only ones that really do are like Bitcoin, ETH, and like Dogecoin. But most other charts, like, they just did not perform that well throughout this cycle. And you could look and prove what I'm saying easily. Like, look at Monero's performance. Like, didn't Zcash kind of drop the ball? I know somebody was talking about BSV recently. Like, dude, Bitcoin Satoshi Vision is at all-time lows. It's at price discovery on the downside. Talk about a shit coin. Like, look, this is 2018. Look at this chart too. This is the most disgusting thing ever. What the actual fuck? And I can't name that many projects that have went to new lows, all-time lows. Like, that's horrendous. Anyways, I don't know why I'm talking about that right now. I just wanted to point out that for me, the OG projects, you got to be very cautious about how you get involved in them, and you really need to play the swings because they're old news. And we're moving on now, and the ISOs are very important to pay attention to. They're very suppressed, and they are an opportunity because they're ISOs, right? As opposed to this stuff like Neo. I mean, have fun with it, man, but like, it had its breakout back in the day, and this is probably going to be trapped in this horizontal trading range between $200 and $5. It could be trapped there forever. I don't have confidence in this stuff going on to similar parabolic returns in the future. I don't. It's over. And that's not to destroy anyone's confidence or make people not buy this thing, because I still think this thing is going to have an automatic rally. Anyways, let's identify piece by piece. If this is going to be a continuation of a Wyckoff schematic, this would be your buying climax. This would be your selling climax. You call this a double bottom. This would be your automatic rally. And then this would be your spring. Okay, so we're through the spring, and now we would be onto a test. And then after your test, you have a SOS, LPS is buying, and then backup phases. So we're probably in that range right now, and that's a 5-year cycle. Anyways, let's pull some fibs and see what's up with this. So we really shit the bed on this. Yeah. Okay. I mean, this 1618 was beautiful because we did perfectly come down to it, and we tried to hold it for a while. But then once we broke below it, we did. I mean, that looks like a spring to me. When we start to break dramatically below technical levels, like this golden ratio on the downside, that's a great buying opportunity, because now we have this. And also, you want to know how, like, I'm just being honest. It's the Red Pill podcast. Don't take this personally. But this coin was trading weeks, multiple weeks, into the C19 lows. That would be like if Bitcoin was trading at $3,000 for weeks. But Bitcoin is not doing that. So I'm just pointing it out. Like, this is a shitty chart, man. This thing did not perform that well for years, for many. This would be right here, just to compare. This would be like if XRP was trading at 18 cents for weeks. For weeks. I don't pay attention to stuff like this anymore, mostly because I could just quickly pull up the chart. I could look at the all-time data and go, that was the C19 crash, and we're trading below it. Shitcoin. This is all retail. Retail is not trustworthy. You really need to play their volatility and their emotions and their sentiment cycles, which requires skills. You actually do need the skill to be able to calm your emotions or remove them completely so that you can make sophisticated moves in the market. But anyways, if you are accumulating down here, there's an opportunity probably into the 400, 500%, maybe as high as $40, which would be a 500% move, and that's a gorgeous move. That's about what most altcoins do, though. And then at those moments, I would get out of this shit completely because I don't have confidence that we're really going to be seeing much, much more price discovery in this in the long term. I mean, maybe at best, you can see a 1618 tap, which would be insane. That would be a 10x from all-time high. It'd be insane. Yeah, I mean, this thing will be a dream if it got to $1,000. Still, you could tell if you compared that to most altcoins, why even bother? 1 second. It's funny how it's called Neo, though, for the Matrix. Okay, so yeah, in the short term, we have to quickly identify this 236, which is a typical rejection point, or it could be a future support point. So from a technical, analysis level, I need to see closures above this 236, preferably a weekly close, 5-day close, etc. And then we're probably going to shift up very quickly into the 382. So if Bitcoin starts to break above 26K into 27, 28K, that'll be the moment where Neo probably starts moving on up to above $15 into this 382 territory, which we'd have to watch out for because we have a lot of action right here, which was the break of support and continuation into your selling climax. It's right there at that 382 at 1856. For downside targets, I think we're kind of done in the short term, but by October, this shit could totally return back to under $10. So just keep that in mind. Chart not looking good. Okay, now we're going to Casper. I checked this out like 2 months ago. We're going to hold off on this one for a while. We don't have a lot of data in it, but we do have enough. So we have data going back from June 2021. We're looking at about 600 days of data. So that's good enough, but this chart is disgusting. Okay, let me do what I got to do on this. I know this is the heartbreaking moments where Chief Wolf says, this coin looks like a baby's diaper that's filled up with diarrhea. Let me delete that and do some TA on the baby diaper. I know I'm offending people right now. It's okay. You didn't make the crypto. You don't work for the company. You don't know anyone who does. They don't care about you. All they care about is retail buying a bunch so that they can sell it and dump it on you. That's all they care about. So remove all your emotion. If what I say stings, use that as a healing moment for breaking free from the cult of a altcoin because it doesn't serve you. And that's the one lesson to be learned here as an investor is you have no relationship with a cryptocurrency. That doesn't exist. Save your relationships and emotions for real things. Now, if this was similar to a relationship in real life and I looked at this coin, I would call this person somebody who breaks into my house once a week and steals from my refrigerator. That's that type of person. They broke into your alcohol cabinet and stole everything. That's this chart. Basura. Okay. I know this project must have gotten into above 40 cents at one time. I think it had like a huge wick on launch, but it's been in a perpetual downtrend since. But here we are. We've gotten about 93%. So I would assume that this has done a full selling climax. So the bottom is in on this, I believe, in the short term. Now, when we get to October, who the fuck knows? When we get to October, this thing could sink back lower into a spring. And the reason I say that is because we don't have any chart data on this. We don't have enough. We don't have cycles of chart data. This thing, like Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, is in a downtrend price discovery on the downside. Okay? It is making new lows from launch. That's not a good thing. Bitcoin was the reverse. Bitcoin just went on a straight line breakout from launch throughout its existence. This thing is going in the opposite direction. So you can't really say too much on it as from a cyclical perspective when you're working with something like this. But let me identify some horizontal levels. So 259 is key. 0259. Keep that in mind. We have a little bit of a heart line right here at 3.4. So that's looking good. I would keep this heart line in mind. You could literally create your own heart line if you want by creating a dashed line like that. It looks pretty good. So here's your horizontal trading range, and this wick right here at about 539 is important to pay attention to because that's right there, and that's where it came down, where it was a moment before a big spike pivot to the upside, and then again another spike, which we returned back to that level at 0.56. And when we broke 0.56, we went on another leg down. So let me mark off that level as well so you can kind of get an idea of its importance. Let me make it like a dotted line and make it red. Make it red for... Okay. So that red line is probably the next level to gravitate up to. Now let me pull a fib. Okay, and that makes a lot of sense. We're getting rejections lately on this 236 fib, which I just taught you before. That's either your short-term rejection point, or if you break above it, that's a point where you tend to come back to, you gravitate back to the 236 as a support. We're getting rejected below it. If we were to break above this red line, we would get into the 382 territory. Another thing I just taught you, where that's a level where you typically gravitate to once you get solidify over the 236. And in crypto, these moments happen fast, and you could see this coin can move fast. It just dumps and pumps and dumps and pumps. And now for an automatic rally, like, you'd be lucky, I think, if you make it back up to 10 cents. Lucky. And I would really heavily de-risk this shit. If I had this in my portfolio, it would be a venture capital play of under 2% of my position. I would not hold more than 2% of this stick of dynamite. Okay, maybe 11 cents, maybe on the automatic rally. But I would, anything above 10, I would start to really consider GTFO. And you can see right here, look at all of these catch points, and then we got rejected, and then we got another rejection before the downtrend. So that's sitting at around 11 cents. I would not fuck around with that area. And I don't think this thing is going to make it above the golden pocket. I don't see it. Highly unlikely. But also, depending on its market cap, maybe some sort of, news, anything could happen at any moment that just shoots these types of things up in a straight line where they get wick rejection. They clear levels, but no one had time to sell it, so it doesn't even matter. And that's probably what you would see if we were to get back to the golden pocket on this coin. It would be some really short-term moment. So as for downside, this heart line will probably hold in the short term. And coming to October, November timeframe, depending on how the market goes, we could probably see this back at 3 cents again. So let's get to the graph. Okay, that's all the data we have? Okay, cool. Okay, this one launched after the C19. Okay, I got two problems with this. One, it launched after the C19 crash, so it existed after that moment. Two, it got lucky by being launched during the Fed printing money and an alt season. So if this thing would have been launched before the C19 crash and it went through that moment and then it went parabolic, it would give me a lot of solid data. But those two things right there, I don't like. It's just lucky. It was launched at a good time. It's timing. Timing is everything. So it did not get to experience the C19 crash, which would have really tested the resilience of this project. Two, it just got lucky and went up because it was launched at a good time. And three, it went into price discovery on the downside. It went into new lows. It broke the launch price. And what are we looking at? We're looking at a 650-day downtrend of it going 98% down. Third reason this is garbage. So yeah, I would not get involved in this stuff. Now, I know I'm sounding very doom and gloom, but it's because I'm honest and I want everyone else to swallow their pride and get rid of this nonsense about the cult of connecting to projects, and it requires us to be real. Yeah, I know it hurts sometimes, but what's real, the truth sets you free. The truth sets you free. All of those three things that I mentioned are facts, and this is problematic. So now let's look at what's gone down since. After the 98% correction, which to me is good enough, this is probably the ultimate bottom. Let me break it down step by step. This is your selling climax. Now we're in the process of an automatic rally. We knew this. We broke above the 236. Sorry, kind of glitched out. We broke above the 236, and you see what happened? We went straight to the 382. That's something I teach you guys. Now we've had a lot of, struggle in this area. Probably do like a short-term symmetrical pennant and then break bullish out of that pennant into the 5 fib, and then probably get into 56 cents. So I like these little peaks right here. The reason being is because I'm seeing some catch points over there with this W breakout, as well as rejections right here. And this was the final high before you dumped into your selling climax. So I like that 56, 55 cent target. I'll just put it at 55. And I would get out of this. Horrible chart. So yeah, we're possible to pull back to the 236 if Bitcoin's going to have a short-term pullback. But it's going to hold this range most likely between the 382 and 236, be volatile until it decides to pop. And then that'll be probably with ETH breaking out. And next step is the 0.5 fib automatic rally. We're looking at about 56 cents, and off of this bottom, which did not last long, it's about a 700% play. So that makes sense, 700%, because it lost 98%. And I doubt anyone really accumulated much down here because that was short-lived. So, yeah, we're taking off of a reasonable range. We're looking at about 500%, which is great. It's still awesome. But I would I would sell all of it personally. And again, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I just know what I would do. Okay, last project we're looking at is Moonbeam. Wow. Okay, I'm glad I saved this for last. Most voted on project. It got like a total of 14 votes, which is high. Like, we really rarely see that. So let me know in the comments why so many votes. I'm interested. Was there some sort of update that you guys are paying attention to? I'm going to quickly identify some key levels. We're actually trading at one right now. Got that level right there at 54 cents. You can see support, 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 attempt, break, resistance, 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 rejection, dump, gravitate right back to it. And lately, triple attempt and no ability to break above. So the level we're trading at right now is textbook. It's about a 60% jump off the bottom. Why does anyone care about this? I'm really curious. Okay, I'm going to take off of I'm not even going to go all the way up. I'm going to give this a chance. Okay, basically let's call it 98% losses. So that's a condition. Yeah. Okay, what's the market cap on this? I'm really interested. I must have pulled it up before in prep. Oh, damn, it's 133rd market cap rank? What the fuck, dude? What is this? All-time high of 29, so yeah, it's down 98%. Oh, yeah. How is there so much market cap? I mean, 133 is not great. It's not like it's a positive. It's just I was expecting this thing to be in like the 1,000 rank market cap. Okay, let's get back to the TA because I got to wrap this up right now. Okay, your 236 is sitting at 86 cents. That makes a lot of, that really adds up because of that level right there. And getting above that, swipe to 380. Guys, I got to admit, I don't even know if this thing will make it to the 0.5. I don't think so. It'll really have to depend. And we're looking at wicks. So I would say the 0.5 fib is possible, maybe around 250. 250 to $3. 250 to $3 would be where I would wager that on a push up. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about this. This is a key level here, and then if we were to have a pullback down and break below the 236 into the end of the year, like October, then a return back to the bottom is very possible, and that would look like a big double bottom, like something like this. Hit the 236, boom, boom, and then whoof. And then this will be your test. And then later you have a break of this level right here, which we call an SOS, sign of strength. Okay, so that would probably be the play on this thing. And if we got back to those levels, I would not buy this thing still. I don't really see the point. But let me know what is up with this. Very intrigued why I got so many votes mostly. I don't even care about this wick right here because this is irrelevant. But all of this 98% downtrend since launch is not looking so good. It's just like that Casper chart. It's horrible. So I hope you guys all had an incredible weekend. Again, we are moving into a very interesting week, volatile week. Let me look at the Bitcoin price right now because I could see we're getting into the 25K territory. We have the Chicago Mercantile Exchange opening a little bit later. I shared my theory on not filling the CME gap at 20,000 in the short term and maybe returning back to it later in the year. And thus far, that's played out exactly how we've anticipated. So we could be seeing a 27, 29K Bitcoin by next week into the monthly close. We just have to see what the stock market wants to do because you know that the stock market is going to play a role in all of this. So we have later today, Dow Jones opening precious metals. We have, Forex, and crypto will be into the weekly close. So pay attention to that weekly close on Bitcoin. If we get above 25K, especially 25,300 above this topside wick, that would definitely be an indicator of swiping up to our next level, which would be the 27,500 territory, the 382. So I appreciate you all, wishing you all an amazing weekend. Much love.